Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Maverick Mindset Radio Show. I am Adam Williams.
And I'm Ashley Muckenhop.
And this is the radio show for the dreamers and doers. It's for those who are willing to step into the arena.
Some call us the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers.
We don't accept the status quo. We leave the world better than we find it.
We approach each day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. We maintain irrational optimism about the future.
This is the Maverick Mindset Radio Show, brought to you by me, Adam Williams. Last show of the year.
Last show.
So, can I make the joke now? We'll see you next year.
Yeah. Okay.
I told Penny that like Friday's her last day, and
Yeah.
then they had 2 weeks off, and I'm like, listen, you got to make sure on Friday you tell everybody.
Oh, no.
See you next year. And she's like, that is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Just gonna tell everyone.
Yeah. All right. So last show of the year, episode 73. Special guest today, which I'm pretty excited about. We're talking about growing our personal brands, trying to grow our influence as influencers. So what's our title today?
All right. Our title today is Chasing Followers or Building Influence, What a Social Media Competition Really Teaches You, with our special guest, Christy Zlakis.
Did you even ask her for like a bio or anything?
I didn't, because we're gonna.
Good, then I'm just gonna
have
make it up.
Questions.
So we have Christy Zlakis with us today. I have known Christy for, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years, I'm guessing. She owns a really successful family law firm outside of DC, technically in Maryland, I think. Is that right?
Yes, Rockville, Maryland.
And we'll tell more of the backstory, but it basically came down to this. She and I had been talking about social media stuff. We had been talking about growing followers, and over a series of like 3 text messages, we laid out a contest.
Nice.
And we started, I think it was officially, we started October 1st, and we said, all right, here's the, we're lawyers. So she sent me basically a contract that said, here are the terms, 5 accounts. So Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and we're going to measure percentage increase in followers.
Okay.
And we built a spreadsheet, and we agreed on those terms.
And we're going to get into all of that.
Yep. And I think our official, I think we get to the end of the year, and then
What is the prize?
I think one of us, the loser has to donate to a charity, right? Of the other person's
Donate $500
choice.
to a charity of the other person's choosing.
Yep. And then a trophy,
Okay.
which we haven't, like loser buys the trophy. So
Nice.
Of course.
yeah. And then probably a lot of public shame and embarrassment.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm ready for this one because whoever loses has to read a script on social media
Oh, no.
written by the other person, a conciliatory speech.
I don't know if I agreed to that.
Oh, you did.
There's
I
a
have it in the
contract.
But those are the terms. All right, so before we get into the contest, and frankly, I think both of us have learned a lot from this. We're probably 10 weeks into this 12-week thing. I think there's a lot of good lessons, not just about growing a social media following, but about business in general. Like there's so many things that have happened during this contest that it's like, yeah, that shows up in other areas of my business. So I think this is going to be a really great show. I'm really excited about it, and we can share some wins and losses. The other irony is we both just jumped into this like total quick start, and we have not, like, have you compared our results at all? I don't even know where I stand.
No, I have not.
Yeah.
I don't know where I can stand compared to you. I know where I stand compared to myself.
Yep.
But no, I don't actually know.
Yeah, we don't know who's winning 10 weeks into this 12-week contest. So, and then after today, everybody's going to hear how great she is and be like, oh, I'm going to go and follow her
Right.
and unfollow Adam and completely sabotage this whole thing. All right, so before we jump into all that, Christy, give us a little bit of your backstory. Tell us about Christy Zlakis.
So I'm Christy Zlakis. I'm originally from outside of Philadelphia, and I moved to DC when I went to college, though I've always wanted to be here. So as you said, I own a family law firm, Z Family Law. We create new beginnings through family law matters in Maryland and the District of Columbia. We also do estate planning, and it is our goal to provide wraparound services for families in the area going through different types of transition. And background story for me is I am an intensely private person. And Adam, you and I have been in different coaching programs together for a very long time. And one of the things and that's actually where we met through a coaching program in 2019. So I figured out we have known each other for 6 years. And one of the things that has been strongly encouraged, if not pressured almost at some points, is personal branding, personal branding, personal branding. And a lot of questions about it at first. It really wasn't my thing for a variety of reasons. I know I'm kind of jumping into the topic, but it really does come down to part of who I am. Because when you and I met, I was almost 400 pounds. I had just started my law firm and I felt like, and truly did have no idea what I was doing. Not as a lawyer. I knew what I was doing as a lawyer, but I had no concept of what I was doing when it came to running the business or marketing. I couldn't tell you what a lead was, what the difference between a sales qualified or a marketing qualified lead was. And so then they wanted me to go put my face on videos and pictures when I was already self-conscious and trying to figure out and felt like the world's biggest fraud. Like it was just so not happening. And over the last period of years, I started my law firm at the very end of 2018, to now, the personal growth I have experienced, in addition to the professional growth, has made me ready for the competition that we have and for the big plans I have in 2026. Because I had to be ready to put myself out there. I had to be ready to figure out who my identity was as a brand, which sounds like an ego thing, guys. And 2 years ago, I would have told you it was an ego thing. And I had to understand the why. And for me, this competition really solidified the why, because it's not just about the leads and all the other things that we're going to talk about.
Yep.
So that's me. I've gone through a lot of change and I love it. And I love to help others change.
And for there are people, of course, watching this video on YouTube or on our Facebook page that they can tell Christy is not 400 pounds anymore.
Yeah.
But for your radio listeners, I can report back that she is not. I have okay, I'm going to tell this joke. So
Are you?
Don't worry, Christy. We'll get back to it. This was an awkward moment over the weekend. So we went to see Chris Kattan at Keller's, and there were two local opening acts. And the first guy gets up and he's, anybody celebrating a birthday? And we go around the room, and people raise their hands. And this lady raised her hand and oh, happy birthday. And he said, it's rude to ask you how old you are. So how much do you weigh?
Oh gosh.
So then he keeps going and he gets to me because it was my birthday. And I said, hey, I'm Adam, 225. And he goes, all right, happy birthday. So then the next act gets up, and I don't remember her first name, maybe Lisa, but she goes by the Glam Ham. That's her. That's her name.
I've seen her.
So
she's good.
She got up and she goes, all right, really excited to be here with all of you. And Adam, 225. Do you want to be 500? Because that's me on top of you. And it was an awkward moment. Because Jackie didn't know how to respond to that one, and that was.
That's great.
It was a good one. I was impressed because she took like 3 different pieces of the show and put them all together.
Yeah.
I think that's what a good comedian does. All right,
Very
but back
cool.
to the more important topic, me and Christy. So, do you have your numbers in front of you? Do we know how this contest is going? Can we check in right now?
Yeah, we absolutely can.
So I'll tell you. All right, let me go backwards a little bit, because here's one of the lessons that I've learned from this already, just 10 weeks into this contest. I think that people and business owners in particular have a tendency to just plan and plan and plan and plan and plan and think about it. So if we sat down and said, let's grow our social media following, what would we do? We're going to look at our accounts and where we stand right now, and we're going to come up with a plan to create the content, and we're going to come up with a plan to post the content, and we're going to research software, and we're going to look into best practices. Christy and I did not have that option, because we decided on Friday we were going to do this. We agreed to the terms on Saturday, and the contest launched Monday.
Oh,
so
boy.
It was go.
It was quick.
Yeah,
that's, I think, both of our personalities, though.
Yes. But I also think it's something that makes us successful, because we don't overanalyze, we just go and do, and then we'll learn to do it better.
If you don't mind, Adam, that was one of the biggest lessons that I learned, and I actually put a couple social media posts about it, and I want to do more about it. But you and I think really go with the whole visionary implementer thing.
Yep.
You and I are both very clearly visionaries, and both of us are smart enough to surround ourselves with amazing implementers. And the implementers want to do the data analyzing and the market best research and which microphone is the best and which this is the best and all of those things. And it's so good and so important. But also, when it came to personal branding, both of us would have been analyzing data we didn't even have yet.
Yep.
And how much data would we have been analyzing for how many hours? And so one of the biggest things that I learned from this is fail your way forward and learn the lessons. I mean, we're going to talk about it more, but I cannot tell you how transformative the last 10 weeks have been, not just in my personal life and my business, but in my 2026 business plan.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like it's insane the lessons you can learn and speed up that learning when you have to do versus plan.
Yeah. So my numbers and my formulas work better because we were talking about this before the show. You started your YouTube channel with 0 followers, which is...
Yeah, I think technically I wrote it down as 1 because I followed myself because you couldn't multiply 0 in the
yeah,
spreadsheet.
There you go. Yeah. So your YouTube following percentage growth is massive. But and I think in the beginning, I think if we went and looked, I'm pretty sure I already had more followers than you on all 5 platforms.
You did. You absolutely did.
My accounts, the 5 platforms, have grown about 27% blended total average.
That's not
bad. I've doubled my YouTube, and I've grown most of the other accounts by a couple hundred here and there. Mm-hmm. So again, in the span of 10 weeks, by just going and posting more about who I am and what I like to talk about, I've grown my following by 27% just by doing it more.
Yeah.
And I also know I've lost followers during that period of time, which I'm okay with too, because like Christy was talking about, I'm talking about stuff that matters to me. Mm-hmm. And stuff that I think is interesting to people that I'm interested in talking to. So to like lose people through that process isn't super offensive to me either. All right, so let's see the scoreboard, Christy, with your massive YouTube following growth. What's your percentage at now?
So here's the problem. Adam and I did modify the terms of YouTube, where we tried to do a base amount of followers, and I still haven't hit that. So I'm not quite sure what to do with YouTube.
Okay.
So I'm putting YouTube aside for a second. So Instagram, I've grown 21.29%.
Nice.
Facebook, 10.31%. TikTok, 16.61%. LinkedIn, 12.53%. Depending on what we do with YouTube, if you started with my 1, I grew 3,600%, which is, again, it's a weird thing because I started with 1.
Yep.
But that is messing with my percentages. But overall, across the board, that's not insignificant for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
No.
10 weeks without a plan. Really. I mean,
without a plan.
Yeah. I go into ChatGPT for a few ideas? Yes. 10 weeks without building a whole team around this. Because I think if we were to do this differently, like when we take these learnings into the next thing, it's like, all right, I'm going to have my team focused on generating the content and putting it together and helping me get it posted. So yeah, my total 8,650 to 90. So I've added 600 followers in the last 10 weeks.
That's pretty good.
With a really inefficient system.
So let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah,
so
you were all prepared for this interview.
And
Christy
you
I just took it over.
hijack this to me.
You can have the show back now.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning where this started, because I know people are listening today, and it's really important, especially business owners with social media and posting and getting out of their comfort zone and all those things. So I want to talk about that. But how did, and Christy, you touched on this a little bit, but how did the competition itself start? Was this intentional? Was this like you guys were talking and like, hey, we should just do this? But how did it start?
So I'd love to answer this one because I actually went through and looked and explained this yesterday to my team.
Yeah.
Adam and I are both competitive, insert whatever you want there. And I have known this about Adam since 2020, which is the first time I actually competed with him in something. Adam may not even remember that, but it was during the pandemic. And our then business coach was challenging us to do certain things. We had these big town halls, and they were challenging us to do certain things with our team. And I stepped up to what was called the hot mic and said that I was going to do it. And Adam messaged me and goes, I'm doing it too. And since then, there have been several different times over the years that either competitions with each other, which granted, this is only a second competition with each other, but where competition has kind of sprinkled into different things that we did. I remember in 2021, Adam did a contest with his team to give them, I believe it was bonuses and giving them off the week between Christmas and New Year's, like just closing his firm.
Yep.
And he made this huge dashboard on the wall with a poster. And I reached out to him, and they had to have a certain number of sales, certain number of things billed, certain number of, Google reviews and all that. And then he would close the office and they get bonuses. And I was like, I want that. And I emailed him, and Ashley, you actually responded and gave me all the different things I did. And I did that with my team.
Nice.
Another time I had a specific sales goal. I wanted to help a specific number of families. Mm-hmm. And somebody told me, you're going to do that when pigs fly. And I was like, watch me.
It was a big goal.
Yeah.
It was a big goal. So my team made a pigs flying spreadsheet, and we marked off every single time we got one of those pigs flying. And it became our thing. And I posted about it on social media, and Adam goes, I want that. That looks fun. And I'm not sure exactly what you do, but I know you did something similar within your team of here's a high goal, here's a competition, let's compete against the high goal. And for me, at least, I'm a big believer in compete high, like shoot for the moon. And if you miss, you land among the stars and you're so amazed at the progress you made. And I fully recognize that doesn't work for everybody. Some people get very upset if they miss the moon, but I don't. Yeah. So Adam and I were at a different conference, and personal branding was a big topic, talking about it over and over and over again. And I will never forget one of the speakers, I believe it was Bradley.
Yep.
He got on stage, and this conference was with 8 Figure Firm, which is a program that Adam and I are both in. And he stepped on the stage. He's like, I can have an 8 Figure Firm in 2 weeks. I was like, you're not a lawyer. Like, what are you even talking about, jerk? Like, what do you? And he goes, you know what I have to do? All I have to do is post on Instagram. I have a law firm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And within 2 weeks, and I was like, oh my God, he's right. Like, it was such a sucker punch because my immediate reaction was like, you're not a lawyer. How could you pop? He's right. He has that many followers and that many people listening to what he says. He was 110% right. And for me, that was such a light bulb moment of if people know you, your messages, who you are, what your values are, all of those different things, then what you do, they want a piece of. And I knew I had to figure it out. And I was talking with Adam about it. And what we talked about is how much Adam and I both studied personal branding for the last 2 years. I've read books. I've done tutorials. I've gone to online boot camp of how to use Canva. I did all these things, except I didn't actually do the personal branding. I sat down with multiple marketing companies where we brainstormed what my personal brand is, what the core pillars were. I had a branding guideline. I had all these plans and no action. Mm-hmm. And then Adam sent me a DM. And if you hold on one moment, I will tell you exactly what that DM
You know
was.
what it is? I think I called you because I was actually just looking for that. But you said...
it was a voice memo.
It was a voice memo. I sent you a voice memo at 6:28 p.m. At 8:12, you said, I will be emailing you proposed terms and a tracking sheet. This is 8 p.m. on a Friday night. And then you promised it by 8 a.m. Saturday morning. And it was in my inbox.
So let me ask you about something.
Well, no, I want to tell my side of that story that she just told because it's good. So this started a few days after we were at this conference, and Bradley was there, and he has 1.4 million Instagram followers. The other thing he said, well, there's two pieces to this. There's a part that I heard from Brad when we met with him when we were in Vegas a few months ago, and then we'll tack on the second part. So the first part is the power of a personal brand.
Yep.
So Mark Cuban has more followers than the Dallas Mavericks. Richard Branson has more followers than Virgin Airways. Like, you think of the big influential entrepreneurs, and those people as individuals have more followers than their companies do, because that's what people are interested in following. So he laid that out for me when we were in Vegas, and then when we saw him in Atlanta, he said, listen, the reality is you can build a personal brand or not build a personal brand. No matter what, it's going to be 12 months from now. So will you have one or not? Right? It's coming. And would you rather have that in place or not? And I think that was the push for me of like, all right, I don't know exactly what I need to do, but I need to do something. So I'm going to go and do that. I think the other part of this and why personal brands are going to become even more important is because of the humanness that they create versus more AI, versus more automation, versus more technology, versus every business in the world trying to figure out how they can implement some form of self-checkout, which I hate. I'd rather deal with a human being most days.
Yeah. Yes.
Most days. So I think there's the importance of it. All right. The other thing that you mentioned, Christy, and again, this is a business lesson whether you're building a personal brand or not, is friendly competition is great. It's funny. We have a lot of former employees that I have challenged to competitions, and they have refused to engage in the contest. Former employees is the important part. I think competition, especially healthy, fun competition, is so important because normal business competition can be really nasty and really discouraging and really difficult. So the competition piece is of course important, but also the thing that you mentioned, Christy, is the tracking and the visibility of the results. And the irony is you and I have not compared our results, but we do send our follower counts to each other every Monday morning. And that tracking and that visibility is so important. So from her Pigs Fly contest is where we came up with Project 300. Do you remember that?
Yes.
We were going to sign up 300 new clients. So I had my face photoshopped onto the body of the guy from 300.
Yeah.
Abs and all. And we had 300 little shields printed that we marked off every time we signed one up. We fell short of that goal, but we signed up something like 180 clients that we wouldn't have otherwise signed up without that contest. So we aimed for the stars and landed on the moon, or whatever the stupid analogy was. For me, it's like we aimed for 300 clients and still made $2 million off of it. Right? Like, call it a failure if you want to, but I was pretty pleased with that. Okay, now you can ask us a question.
So my question. So why did it take the competition for you to decide or realize that this was something that you needed to do? Why couldn't you do it on your own? Do you think that you needed the competition in order to make you consistent and motivate you?
That's a really good question.
Well, you're welcome.
So for me, it's 1000% I needed the competition. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it before. I'm embarrassed to say that was not the first light bulb moment I had about personal branding. But I've had some hard stuff going on in my personal life in the last couple of years, and at least for me, I think that's just made the personal branding 10 times harder because I don't want to share all of that. Some of it I do. I've had some deaths in family, and I do share about that. But I do like to keep certain things private. And also, I am intensely motivated by competition, and sometimes I drive some of my firm crazy with my super high lofty goals. I'm very much like Adam, and I don't care that I do care that we like strive hard for that goal, but when I see how much better we do because we had a competition, giving you guys kind of that example, that pigs fly competition, we didn't get that number of pigs fly, but our increase that month, and forgive me, I don't have the number right in front of me, but it was something like 24% more over the prior quarter. And that wouldn't have happened but for us literally physically ringing a gong in our office every time we got one and celebrating and having that positive energy. So for me, I needed it. And during this quarter, there have been, some other challenges also in my personal life. And without that competition hanging over my head, I would say at least 40% of my posts wouldn't have happened.
Yep.
And even now, like we're at the last 2 weeks, and I can't even tell you how long my to-do list is. I was up at 2:30 yesterday morning doing work because I have so many different things that I have to get done. But I also shot some content. Yeah. It hasn't been perfect. It hasn't been as consistent, but I also shot it. And yesterday, even after starting work at 2:30 a.m., before I left, you know what I did? I posted a darn picture on my story of looking out my office window and before bed of my dog being silly spinning around the Christmas tree. Aww. And I can promise you that without this competition, that wouldn't have happened.
That was a funny video too. Her dog was like underneath the tree trying to like scratch his back, literally spinning the tree around.
No.
It was cute.
Hey, Tom Spiegel, I'll send you my tree stand because notice it didn't knock over like your cat.
Okay, so you asked if basically what's the value of entering into the contest. There's a lot of it. One is it forced that first step, but I've taken the first step towards building a personal brand over and over and over again. So it was another nudge over the cliff. Fine. I think for me is knowing that it's not just about the contest and the winning and the trophy. Those are all going to be great for me. Really what it was...
He's assuming he's winning.
Really what it is it is actually a challenging contest for me. I knew that Christy would put up a good fight. And I knew that there was a risk that I wouldn't win. So I think that that's forced me to be better as well. And here's the reality. Unless you're a lawyer, a practicing lawyer, or a professional athlete, there is no other job in the world where someone shows up directly opposed to you every single day. You are not playing head-to-head against another. A surgeon doesn't walk into the hospital with another surgeon there playing defense and trying to stop it, right? Practicing law as a litigator generally, or even as a transactional attorney, and professional athletes are the only ones that have that. So I think bringing that element in forces you to get better. I learned that from my dad. He used to intentionally help out some of his competitors because he knew it made him better. So I think that was it for me, is like not only, yes, the contest helps, and yes, winning is great, but I also think that having a worthy opponent
Yes.
is really important, right? I think
Great.
that's why Jake Paul doing boxing is kind of a joke. Anyway, that's that went a little far off field. Go ahead.
So we have the why. We have
Mm-hmm.
the, this is why we're doing it. This is the goal. This is what I'm expecting out of it. Now you get to the part of actually posting and doing. How consistent have you two been? Tell me about the moments that you don't want to post, and do you fall into that? And do you think that it is the consistency of posting and being imperfect? Or do you think you need to be perfect posts and I got to rehearse and I got to do it 10 times and I got to make sure everything's right before you just put your honest self? I
Yep.
guess are you two putting your honest selves out there?
Let me throw one other piece on top of that before Christy answers, because I want to hear this from her, and I think a lot of other people want to hear this
Yeah.
as well. She doesn't want to do this. She doesn't want to put herself out there. Yet, the exact things that she would talk about in her social media are the exact things she's trying to help people with in her business, right?
Yeah.
So she's averse to doing it, but there's immense benefit to the audience of hearing what she has to say. So that's what I want to hear about, is like the imperfection versus the consistency, and the overriding fact that like you just don't really even want to put yourself out there. Although I bet that we're turning that ship as you start to see positive results from this. That's what I want to hear.
So the short answer is yes, we are yes, you are going to see a shift. There are still areas in my life that I have decided are no-go zones that I'm not going to talk about, period,
Yep.
end of discussion. And a large part of that is because they involve other people and it's their business too.
Yep.
And they're also very intensely private, and it's not fair to put their stuff out there. So once I set up those clear boundaries for myself, a lot of it was me intentionally choosing to be vulnerable. And Adam will tell you, because he does follow me and he does like my posts, and I appreciate all of that, but I have talked about my weight loss journey. I have collaborated with my plastic surgeon, which, by the way, I would have never admitted before that I had plastic surgery, but skin removal is real. And, my plastic surgeon and I now follow each other on Instagram and, even comment on each other's stuff, which has been one of the most kind of really cool things. And people have reached out about that. I have had this podcast, and I'm not trying to talk about my social media branding, but I've had this podcast in my head for the longest time. I actually sketched it out about 5 years ago, and two of my amazing implementers, my marketing director and my formerly director of operations, now director of operations and finance, have said, no, it's going to take more time than you think. It's going to take more this, and you have to organize it. And they're 100% right. I owe them a very big poster board saying that they were right and I was wrong, and it's in my car and they're going to get it. And then I'll post about it on social media. But holy shit, I have a podcast that I like listening to. Like, I listen to my own podcast because it brings me joy. And you know what it talks about? Business and personal failures.
Yep.
I talk about the things that embarrass me the most. I talk about the things that I have messed up so that other people don't do it, or the things that have happened in my life. Like, I went through a really awful breakup. Interestingly, it was, I don't generally talk about his full name, and I'm not going to say his full name, but his first name was Adam. So when I started posting Adam that we were doing a competition, I got some very weird questions. But I went through a breakup like 10 years ago, and it is the genesis of why I started my law firm, because I wanted people to understand that something that can happen in your life that for you feels like the end of the world, and it changes everything that you saw before you, the whole future that you have designed for yourself, and you can take that and go, I'm going to do something better. And I've had this in my head. I've written a book about it. My book's coming out next year. It's in the editing process right now. And one of the things that the personal branding competition did, not only did I start my podcast, and the podcast is called This Is Not the End, my book didn't have a title. And now, guess what the title of my book is?
Tell us.
This Is Not the End.
This is not the
nice.
end. Yeah.
And it's because I had to post all the time. It is because I had to do all those things. I have now branded myself online as the divorce attorney for entrepreneurs, the entrepreneur's divorce attorney, because that's always been my favorite type of client. And it doesn't mean that I don't have lots of other types of client, but I don't particularly like working with men. I don't particularly like working with women. I like working with visionaries who need a creative solution around things like custody and divorce that fits this very unique lifestyle and this very unique, often income. Like we're not consistent. We don't get the W-2 thing. And it has attracted those kind of clients. And I'll talk to you more about what the thing does, but what matters when you talk about authenticity, the posts and things that go, I guess, get more popular. And I have not gone viral yet. I absolutely have not. But the ones that have gotten the most attention, the ones that I've gotten the DMs.
The most raw ones.
I talked about how after my breakup, I slept on the floor for 2 months. Like admitting that and publicly, if you would have asked me to do that 4 months ago, I've told people close to me, but not publicly. And I said that on a podcast episode, and I had somebody DM me and say that their spouse died and they hugged the refrigerator for months afterwards because it was the same height as their spouse. And they asked if they could go on my podcast and share their story to inspire others who lost their spouse and in that moment needed that. And holy shit.
Hey, don't swear on the radio.
What this brought. Sorry. Holy crap. That's what this brought.
Right.
So that was really good. I don't have the answer for you on this about whether like perfection and really well produced and really well scripted stuff is the answer, or if consistency is the answer. I don't have the answer because I've only grown my following 27%. I can't, I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at, but I still don't have 10,000 followers on TikTok or Instagram, right? I can tell you what helps is consistency for myself of just knowing I want to post at least daily forces me to get more out there, right? And we've talked about this on the show. The more at bats I take, the more likely I am to hit a home run. So consistency is important there. On the other hand, imperfection I think is important because imperfection is kind of one of my core values, right? And that's what I'm about. So it doesn't need to be one of these beautifully produced things. But now, I think you see most influencers with a large following are posting at the highest volume, but there are a couple of exceptions to that with people that post less frequently, but it's really well thought out, really well built out stuff. The other thing that has helped me is sort of hitching my wagon to someone else's authority or influence or celebrity. So being on Brad Lee's podcast was huge. That was huge. I think I picked up 150 Instagram followers like the day he put that out there, and the one video has over 100,000 views, and we signed up 5 or 6 clients from that. Holy smokes. So I would do that again. And so Christy made a really good point about there's certain things that she's not going to talk about. I don't know that I'm restrictive like she is with mine, where I've kind of got pillars that I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about business. I'm going to talk about taxes. I'm going to talk about my family, and I'm going to try and be funny. Like that's kind of what I stick to. None of these categories are met with having John Bacon on our podcast. That one of those clips from that podcast has 250,000 views on Instagram. Yeah. And over 100,000 on TikTok. Like that's viral in my book. Yeah. When the equivalent of the population of Erie sees one of my videos out there, and I think it's a great example of personal brand because it's like, it's just something that I think is cool and that I'm interested in. So let's go talk about it. And if you're interested in hearing more stuff that I think is cool and interesting, then follow me. So, and I think we've seen some of those results. I'm seeing people that follow me because of the Edmund Fitzgerald, which I have my Edmund Fitzgerald coffee mug today. Seeing people that follow me because of that, and then they interact with other stuff that I do that's completely unrelated to that just because they think I'm an interesting person. And that's a hard thing for me to accept. Like, oh, people actually like me for who I am and what I'm about. That's cool.
Well, that's what I want to ask you guys. Is it posting for people to understand who you are to the core? Like what I'm posting, is it me? Is it authentic? Is it a representation of who I am as a person, or is it a representation of who I am in my business?
No, I don't think it's limited to business at all. I think you just have to be genuine.
I think it can't be limited to business. If it was limited to business, why wouldn't they follow our law firms?
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, do you hold yourself back on things because of the business?
I personally don't.
Used to, and I don't anymore.
Yeah.
Like listening to like Brad Lee, he doesn't hold anything back. He's like absolutely nothing and doesn't care. But then I've watched other people where they're filtered because it could impact their business because the wrong opinion is important to them. What do you guys think?
I'm not going to sacrifice myself for the business. That's it.
I stopped that about 2 years ago. Not because I was doing tons of personal branding, but because I live in the DC area.
Yeah.
A lot of political things happen in the DC area, and I promise not to talk politics on your show, Adam, but silence is also a statement in where I live, and I decided that my values are way more important to me than protecting my business because someone might find out what my opinion is.
I like that.
Can we talk about one other thing, Christy? Because I think this is really interesting. Your choice to focus on doing divorce for entrepreneurs. That, by most people's definition, is a niche.
Yes.
And I think that there's a lot of fear from business owners of saying that I'm sure you help other people, right? But the focus of your messaging, the focusing of your marketing is on helping entrepreneurs with divorce.
Yes.
When you decided as part of your marketing and your messaging to shrink your target, I assume that also shrank your business, right?
No.
That was a leading question.
No.
Yeah. So can you talk about that a little bit about how you could be generic divorce lawyer talking generic divorce, or you can talk directly to entrepreneurs who are maybe going through issues like that?
Sure. And I will tell you, I have two distinct voices. My law firm has a voice and Christy has a voice. My law firm's voice is talking about new beginnings, and we do it over and over and over again. And it's not for us just a cliche saying. I came on the show and I said, we create new beginnings through Family Law Matters. That's what I say to everybody, because I respectfully do not want a client to walk into Z Family Law and go, or a prospective client go, I want a lawyer that's going to decimate the other side, that's going to throw all the grenades on the other side, that's going to destroy them and blah, blah, blah. Okay, let me show you the We Fight For You lawyers. They're over there. I want the person that wants to take this moment in time, figure out what life they want to live 3, 5, 10 years down the road, and work towards that, and then work their way backwards to figure out their divorce. And the reason I say that about Z Family Law is because, Adam, how do you do a business plan?
Start with the goal.
You start with 3 years from now and you work your way back. Vivid vision.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So that's what I talk about with in Z Family Law, because not everybody who's an entrepreneur, not everybody who resonates with that is an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And that is the ideal client for the law firm. The ideal client for me as well within that is the entrepreneur. And I realized this through this competition, so I'm going to even be giving this competition like major plugs. We have done Christy's pillars over and over again. My social media pillars, the 4 pillars, the 4 content pillars, blah, blah, blah. We've identified it over and over and over again. And it was my director of client engagement, my marketing director, Skylar, who said to me, Christy, why don't we just brand you? Why don't we just say it? She's like, all you want to talk about is business and all you want to talk about is divorce. Why don't we just say it? You're the divorce attorney for entrepreneurs. And I was like, oh, she's like, just own it.
Yeah.
And it was another one of those light bulb moments. I was like, yes. And within 20 minutes, because speed is my thing. That's one of my core values, is I will get it done right now. Like, I'm not waiting until next week. All my social media handles were like,
all
not the handles specifically, like everything was changed because, yes, that is all I like to talk about. I love to talk about business and business failures and all the unique challenges that entrepreneurs face. And I love talking about how you can take these awful moments in your life. And that might be a divorce, that might be losing a family member, that might be going through something else hard. It doesn't necessarily have to just be a divorce. And you can sit there and say stuck in the mud, or you can go, I'm going to take this and it's going to be the launch pad into the greatest thing I've ever done. And so for me, and I'm bringing it back to this competition again, like I wouldn't have gotten there. We've been doing this for like 4 years trying to find my voice. I wouldn't have gotten there, but I had to keep posting and posting and posting and posting. And then Skylar, who is magic, takes all my stuff. I joked with her literally yesterday. I feel like we're the refrigerator magnets where I put up all the magnets and go, this is pretty. And then she turns them into something that makes sense.
That's a good analogy.
But she couldn't make sense of it if I hadn't done that.
We're going to add that to our recruiting process. I'm just going to throw some, what's that called? Like the magnetic
refrigerator magnets. Just throw them out there.
But like we're like the poetry that we have on our refrigerator in the office. That's going to be part of the interview. Go make something beautiful out of this. Sorry. Got excited there.
And I got to remember how much fun, she and I, when we first started, she started as my marketing coordinator years ago. Like very, very early when we didn't have, now we work with a bigger agency and we did one rebrand with her, and we've moved to a different agency that had bigger and more offerings, and they do a lot of it, and that's great. But that meant that, and she's helped me design sales process and all those different things. But she and I haven't had a moment in a while to be creative together. And being creative together, there's like magic there.
Yeah.
Because I say things and she makes them pretty. And so we came up with the Entrepreneur's Divorce Attorney. We came up with This Is Not the End. We came up with the branding for This Is Not the End. We're launching a website with my name on it because I'm like, I want one for personal branding, and it's beautiful. And she designed it based on my house. She went around, took pictures of my house, and was like, I'm going to make you, all of you, into this concept. And we're still refining it. But I forgot how much fun that we had together and to creating together and creating the messaging of in my brain out that to the world and translating in a way that reaches people. And it is because of her that for me, this has been so successful. And I'm not even talking about the numbers, though. I am proud of the numbers and I'm putting up good numbers and I'm not, upset about it. But what I mean is the gains that we have gotten. And for us, that's new team members. I found new team members, multiple new team members through personal branding. We got more clients through personal branding. I've gotten to be on the news once and now I'm scheduled again in the new year because of personal branding. I have reached out and have new referral sources and new contacts, and I've had lunch and coffee with people because of personal branding. People who have been on my podcast have inspired the ever-living heck out of me, and I never would have met them but for this. And because of their stories, because of how this is working, we had a 5.5 hour business planning meeting that was just based on marketing, and we changed our strategy for next year to really focus on this and figure out, okay, now that we've tried to pump out all this content, and actually I'm circling it back to your question, consistency, does it matter? Yes, it does. Because I also had a very big trial at the end of November and then had something else happen where my consistency absolutely dropped off, and so did my growth. And so for us, we looked at that as an opportunity because I'm a big believer in, there's a problem, what's the problem? I'm good at putting out the content of the idea, the filming, the stuff. What I'm bad at is the mechanics. The mechanics of posting, the mechanics of figuring out the hashtag, the mechanics of figuring out what the trend is, the mechanics of physically getting it there. And while we were at it, we figured out what software doesn't work for us, what software did work for us. We did free trials of a bunch of different ones to figure out what we liked. We figured out one team member was not working for us. And we figured that out in 10 weeks because of having to do this.
And I think that's the value of action, right? Like that's really what it comes down to is taking action over and over and over again. If you need a friendly competition to do that, right? If you're inspired and self-motivated and can keep that going, good for you, go for it. But like whatever you need to push you over that edge and to keep it going, that's where the success is going to come from. I would also like to just get this out of the way. It seems pretty clear to me that when we reach December 31st and we put the final numbers on the scoreboard, that will not be the end. Because it sounds like, I mean, you've taken 10 weeks of action and said, this has been great. And oh, by the way, it's going to turn into this podcast and my entire rebranding and my book launch and everything else that you've talked about. Like, yeah, that's the value of just getting up and doing something. Okay. Now you mentioned, I mean, let's be honest here, Christy, we're small time. Right? We do not have massive followers when it comes to this stuff yet. Although it's funny seeing some of the comments that are already coming in on Facebook. There are a lot of people that think we're really great, rightfully so. So it's helped you with recruiting. It's helped you with clients. It's gotten you on the news twice. I watched the news segment. That was really cool. But we can't just talk about the sunshine and rainbows. Have you had any haters come out of the woodwork because of this?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, tell us about it.
Yeah, because I got some too. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so first, Adam, I don't know if you get this. I think might be more of a woman thing, but I have definitely got the creepy DMs, the people sending me inappropriate messages, and one person who seemed very sweet that was friends with my mom in high school wanting to set me up with her son. I don't have it on social media. I'm very happily in a relationship, not available, but I definitely got some of that, and that is not something I am open for. And I will say I have lost followers because I have blocked people because there's a line. No. Other haters, I had this before, but it came out more with the personal branding. I have heard, through the grapevine in the bar, like, oh, Christy has a big head. Christy's trying to do this TikTok thing. Christy's just full of ego. Christy doesn't care about her clients. All Christy cares about is being out there on the news and posting different things. Christy, I've gotten it, and I have decided it doesn't matter. The other piece that I learned that was kind of hard with that, when you're struggling in your business, a lot of people will come in and be very supportive to you, which is great. And I'm not trying to knock that. I appreciate that. But when you're doing something cool and different, you have a lot. Are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you want to, publish a book? Because, just a lot of shady lawyers and stuff like that do that, and the book looks crappy, and they just sit there and, are you sure you want to do this? Or the people who said, yay, I'm supporting you, but didn't actually follow me on any platform.
Yeah.
Or didn't ever listen to my podcast. People that I thought were friends.
I totally forgot about the local bar piece of it, because there is a good chunk of our local bar that thinks I'm completely insane. And I'm kind of okay with it. I was thinking more along the lines of like the horribly mean comments over nothing.
Of course, you told me I was still fat. That was fun.
Wait, who? What?
Oh yeah, I had one tell me that. I'm like, okay.
Oh my word.
We can. That's fine if that's what you got.
That's fine. There are a couple accounts I follow on Instagram that they do these posts called the face behind the comment, and they'll take all these nasty comments and show the image of the person saying the thing, and it's always
that's funny.
But yeah, I'm amazed. I actually think that having people just be genuinely mean, like just mean-spirited, mean-hearted, cold, empty Grinch people has actually helped me too. Not for sake of comparison, but just as a reminder, like, of the phrase "hurt people hurt people."
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to me. So the one of our videos that blew up is when we had John Bacon on, and I said, John, in 1 minute or less, can you tell us the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald Gordon Lightfoot story? It took him 2 minutes to tell this story. And there's a bunch of people like, that didn't take a minute, that took 2 minutes. And it's like, really, dude? Like, that's okay. What you're remind me not to hire you or work with you. So that's been really, that's just been mind blowing. Or like, we take this hour-long show and we dump it into a piece of AI that clips it and captions it, and there may be a typo in the caption, or it may leave out like, sorry, we didn't completely lay the foundation for the story that we're telling, but AI edited this thing, and go listen to the entire episode. And people are just mean about it. And I actually think this has been really good for me. I find myself taking it personally a whole lot less than I used to. So
what's the saying? Someone's opinion of me is none of my business.
Yeah. And it's so easy to say that, but until you actually deal with it, I think there's all kinds of cute sayings, but until you actually deal with that crap.
Yeah. I deal with it.
Sometimes,
yeah.
It's okay. I'd be lying if I said sometimes that stuff does, really hurts. But when I get hurt by it, what I try to do is look at the other people, like the story I told you guys earlier about the woman who DM'd me about how my story of sleeping on the floor helped her.
Yeah.
Because I like to think that even if it's for every 10 haters, I get one person that I touched them in a way that had a positive impact.
Well, that's the difference between having followers and being an influencer. You influence somebody who now in return, and now, like I said, you have more people on there who's going to reach more people. So now it's taken a different turn of like, I'm just not in here for the followers. I'm in here to make a difference. And if that is just one person, well, then it was all worth it to begin with.
And I think that's the whole point of how, like, anybody that comes to me or Christy or anybody else trying to build a personal brand and said, you're just in it for your ego. Mm-hmm. She and I have been at this long enough, not just with the personal branding, but with building successful businesses, of like, that's not why we're after it.
Well, and with the haters, it probably could hurt your ego.
If I become more famous, it only allows me to help more people. Mm-hmm. It only allows me to bring more people onto my team. It only allows me to positively influence more people's lives.
Yeah.
And I think as long as there's a reason that you don't see me dancing on TikTok. Because I'm not doing it just for followers and just to grow my influence. There's a reason that we're sticking to our pillars, or the things that we know, or the things that we want to talk about, because that's who we are, and we know that it can help people. That's it. So yeah, tell me it's about my ego. Fine. I welcome those comments. And someday when you're looking for a job, we probably won't have one available for you. So
yeah.
All right, what else are we going to cover? We have 5 minutes left.
I want to get, because we only have 5 minutes, I want to give Christy like some time for like, what do you want to say or close this off with, or what's your...
So Adam, part of my business plan next year has been influenced hugely by this, because we realized that personal branding works. We also realized...
See, now you're just inflating my ego. I'm taking credit for it.
you do get credit for it because you compete with me.
Yep.
And nobody in my law firm does. And I don't say that anything disrespectfully. Like I said, Skylar's magic, but she's one of the people that tones me down, tempers me.
Yep.
Not tones me down, tempers me.
Yep.
And I surround myself with people that temper me. But it's rare that I have somebody that inspires me to light a fire under my butt. And I think you and I would agree, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that this has worked for both of us.
Yes. I mean, that's actually a really great bigger lesson too of who you interact with and who you surround yourself with is so important. Are they pushing you to be a better version of yourself? Are they inspiring you? Or are they just the people that you keep hanging around? Man, that's a great example. And yeah, like I said earlier, you are a worthy opponent. There are plenty of people that would have reached out to me to do this and I would have said, I don't think so.
So, Adam, I'd like to propose to you that we continue this into 2026.
It's so much work, Christy. It's so much work.
Yes, but you know what? I also know your brain is similar to mine. And if we don't have that little dopamine hit of the competition, we're going to taper off. And I want, as you pointed out, the next 12 months are going to happen anyway. And do you want to sit here on December 17th, 2026, having done the work or having not done the work? And what is more likely to get you to do the work?
No, of course I'm going to do it.
My proposal is as follows. Hang on.
All right. Hang on. Let me take notes.
Okay.
Let's throwing down the gauntlet. Let's hear it.
I propose that we continue it.
Yep.
And it doesn't mean that we don't still have our ending point here where we have a winner and loser,
Yep.
but we continue it into 2026. We take applications for 3 additional members. They have to be worthy opponents. They don't have to be lawyers. For a group of 5 to compete with the same spreadsheet and weekly check-ins. They can still be Monday morning at 8 a.m. sending screenshots to make sure that everybody is honest.
Okay.
And quarterly Zoom meetings where we talk about what's been working for us, what hasn't, and sharing tips and tricks, because I know that's something you and I have been meaning to do. And then we reconvene on December 17th, 2026, whether it's on this show or on one of the other people's shows, and see how we did. But I need the fire under my butt to keep posting. I need the fire under my butt to make sure that I have the help that I need to make sure that I do this. And I don't want to let it go.
I love that. Are you
Oh, no.
in or are you
No, I'm about to
out?
make it better. If we each put $5,000 in,
Oh, shoot.
we'll have a $25,000 pool
Yes.
to rent the house for our mid-year meeting and check-in. So think about that. Or fine, winner takes all, whatever. But I think we should.
No,
I think we should.
About money, because that's not why we're doing this. That's why I liked the charity piece. But okay.
All right, we
I'm
can rent
hearing
a
you
house.
so far.
All right. Second thing, and this has actually been something that's bothered me about this contest because we hamstrung ourselves unintentionally. You and I both said we won't pay to boost any posts. This all has to be
Yes, I know,
organic, and I think that's leaving money on the table, so to speak. I think
I agree.
that's limiting us. So we have to come up with a term around that. But yes, let's throw it out there. 2026 personal brand. It's funny because it's like we didn't even rehearse this. And what's she gonna do? Come on my show and challenge me and have me be like, I don't think so.
Good move, Christy. Good move.
So I like the idea of bringing in 3 more people for a total of 5. I think we need to add some terms around how we really measure success on this, because I think we have a very oversimplified version, and you and I both had challenges with that. So
You should have your marketing people define the terms of what success is.
well, we're gonna have ChatGPT help too. So 5 people, run it for 12 months. I think the quarterly Zoom is a good idea. I think maintaining the scorecard is a good idea. But I also we need to loosen up the purse strings a little bit on the ability to boost posts.
I agree. So here's what I'm thinking. You and I talk offline. We figure out the terms. We post it on our social media, and we take applications. We'll come up with an email directly for them, and we can on New Year's Day announce who is joining us.
We'll have a landing page built by the end of the day for this. Just letting you know.
All right, Joel gave us the 1 minute countdown.
All right. Any other parting words of wisdom or any other lessons that you want to share in the last 60 seconds, Christy?
If you need a kick in the butt in anything, and I do mean anything, not just personal branding, find a friendly competition that is a worthy opponent. It works.
That's great advice. Yeah, find someone to help push you. Self-motivation is great, but it's not always reality. So yeah, that's really good. All right, well, Christy, this has been a great contest. I'm looking forward to wrapping up the next 2 weeks and then the next 52 weeks after that. Really appreciate you coming on the show. You had some great wisdom to share, and I'm really looking forward to editing this and getting the snippets out there as well. Your challenge this week, everybody, just start. If you're interested in building the personal brand, give it a test. Get out there and post once a day and see what happens. Deal with the haters. You can do it. I believe in you.
And if you're interested in joining our competition, follow both of us because we will both post about
Yeah, how do we
it so
not
that
have
you
that
know
call
where
to
to
action?
apply.
Find us on social media and follow us, and then unfollow Chrissy on December 31st. All right, have a
No.
great week, everybody.
Bye.